Hi, I'm Jason Bond, and in this episode, I'm taking the workshop on the road to the Toronto Game Jam.
Jerry's Workshop Rises pay-per-view.
For a while now, I've been hoping to make a sort of interval ear training game. And if you're not a music person, an interval is basically just the difference between two notes. So the number of steps between a C and a G, for example, is called a perfect fifth. We have the same number of steps between E and B. It's higher pitched, but it carries the same sort of sound. It's this relative difference between the two that we call an interval, and it forms the core of melody and harmony. That's why you can play a song in a lower or a higher range and it still sounds like the same song. So people who want to be able to hear music and understand how it's composed will often do ear training so they can identify these intervals just by the sound of them. It's a long and tedious process. It takes a lot of practice. So when I started trying to do this for myself, I thought, why not make it part of a gameplay experience where the skill you're building up through playing the game is identifying intervals by ear. So this is the idea that we went into this year's Toe Jam with. The Toronto Game Jam, or Toe Jam as it's called, is the city's longest running and largest game jam. For 3 days straight, game creators try and build a game from scratch to finished product. So Colin, how are you enjoying Toe Jam?
You know what? This year has been great. As we remember, last year was trying, but this was all about redemption, and I really think that we've got something good going here today. So I'm enjoying it. I'm having a great time.
What are your thoughts on game jams?
You can make something that you can just enjoy the process of doing it. You don't have to make it perfect or hold yourself down with trying to be perfect. And I think that's it's a healthy thing to do and to experience every once in a while. So I think it's good. Game jams are good. I like games that are different in some way, something that's unique, innovative a little bit, just a little bit. I like story-based things. I like exploring how can we tell stories through games. I love music and sound, and so using those in interesting ways in games, these are my big interests.
Music theory game that you linked to begin all this.
We may have come into the jam with some basic ideas, but there was a lot of experimenting to go through before we arrived at the final gameplay. So I think the slingshot control here works really well if you're kind of moving around stealthily and you get yourself into like a position near an enemy but not too close, and then you can kind of take your time, observe them, listen to the musical interval, and then kind of pull back your weapon like it's a bow and arrow, and release at the right moment and take them out, which I am really bad at, evidently.
There's a minute all the time. And then it finishes and it's got the beeps to let you know
It is hard.
Beep, beep.
I like the general idea of it, but I don't like the execution doesn't quite work. Oh!
I think maybe this is a shorter.
I actually
My name is Carla. So I just moved to Canada for 1 year, 1.5, and I used to be a game artist back in Hong Kong. And I'm glad that even after I'm here, and I still doing what I love to do as a game artist. And I mean, thanks Colin for inviting me to be part of this Toe Jam thing. But it's definitely new to me. Like you have to create a game in just 3 days and see what you can do. Yeah.
So you've never done a game jam before?
No, never.
How are you finding it so far?
I like it, yeah. Colin told me just paint whatever I want. So I just yeah. So just yeah. I love it. Yeah, I love every moment of it. So at first, we got a few sketches here. Like which, okay, one of these include like, oh sorry, it's upside down. So it's a spaceship game at first. With you as the main character sitting inside a spaceship and and sending random rabbits to different planets. And the second one we also got is like you're having a walk and see this bunch of birds sitting on the branch, sending to you, and you try to sing back to them to attract them to follow you or whatever you want. and, and I actually quite like this idea. So it's about like you're a I don't know, a kitchen maid. You have to make tea for a lot of people in that house. So all this kettle will make a different whistle, and then you have to like toss, I don't know, maybe coffee cups or tea cups in different color to them to make them stop. But at the end, we end up using that idea with birds on the tree, and you try to attract them with your whistle so that they will follow you. So I kind of like took the main, not the main character, but one of the most interesting character in that Mozart's opera, Magic Flute. So Papageno, and he's actually a bird catcher. So he has to like dress like a bird. He's have a cage on his back to capture all these birds that falls into his singing. So it's kind of like the original design when the opera the first came out, and and I took that concept and turned it into that character that we have got in this game right now. With a paper bag on his head, I don't know, to hide his true identity.
Hi, I'm Kai. I arrived on day one and I was asked to do a bunch of sounds for a concept game that sounded pretty cool. And then the next day, they told me that none of the sounds that I had made would be sufficient and they would need an entirely new batch. So I made an entirely new batch of sounds. And their birdie tweeter game is looking like it's turning out pretty good. And I had a great time, and I'd love to do it again sometime.
Holy God, okay.
Toe Jam's over for another year. I want to thank my teammates, Colin Sanders, Carla Wong, and Kai Winter for making the game with me. If you want to try it out, you can download it on itch.io. And I'd also like to thank the Toe Jam organizers, the many volunteers, and the sponsors for putting on another awesome event. Until next time.